I'm going to start off with a quote by John Ruskin. Life is a magic vase filled to the brim, so made that you cannot dip into it nor draw from it. It overflows into the hand that drops treasures into it. Drop in malice, and it overflows with hate. Drop in charity, and it overflows with love. So today we're talking about the sense of authority, and when I first saw the title, I was like, what? What does that mean, a sense of authority? And it really builds on everything that we have been talking about since we started the basic principles of the science of mind. A sense of authority is like the prophet Jesus when he would say, the Father and I are one. Now imagine your life if you not only said that, but as the prophet, you actually believed it. How quickly would you manifest things in your life if you truly embodied the Father and I are one? That is the sense of authority. That is knowing that there is no separation from you and your good except you. What are you thinking? What are you posting on Facebook? What do you write on Instagram? What are you reading? What are you listening to? All of those things have an opportunity to connect you or to make you feel separate. They have said that Facebook, with all of the things that it provides us, can actually put people into a deep depression. Because they may pull up Courtney's page and look at her life and go, well, I can't have that, right? Instead of looking at a page like Courtney's and going, wow, that's amazing. I want a life like that. I wonder what she's thinking and what she's doing to create that kind of happiness in her life. Because the truth is, it's an inside-out job. Courtney can't make you happy. She may make you mad sometimes. But that's okay, because she can't do that either, right? You get to choose. It's funny how we don't sometimes honor and own that. So your sense of the authority is that practice that we do every Sunday morning, that last bit of looking up and recognizing, feeling into that which has created everything out of nothing is the truth of who you are, that you're part of that. Think about that for a minute. That is amazing to even wrap your mind around. That really, when I quit feeling separate, things automatically flow easily. You know, I have told the story about Mary Morrissey multiple times, but it's a good example of how this works. When she I don't know if lost is the right word, when she left her church in Oregon, thinking that was her entire life, she said, leaving it with fingernail marks on the wall, if you will. How many of you have done that in your life? You know, oh no, this can't be happening to me, right? And 6 months later, what she realized was, thank you, God. Now imagine, now we're human, so she needed the 6 months. There's nothing wrong. There is no place in this philosophy that says you are not supposed to process your emotions and your feelings. This is not a get quick fix philosophy. Jesus had his moments. And yet he always came back to the Father and I are one. And he spoke with authority about that. Everything he did, he said thank you first. I wonder what that would look like if that's where we started every conversation. Gee, thanks for being here today. It's great to see you. What's going on in your life? If we got back to basic kindness, back to our truth, back to that place of knowing that the all-powerful, almighty is love. It is not something that we need to do, really be, or have. It is the truth of who we are at the core of our beingness. And if we radiated that out, how many hearts would we touch? How many lives do you think we could change if we became that? And I will tell you, it's a practice. It is a practice because for me, I have, as a person in recovery, I go to defend first. Because that's where I spent the first portion of my life. Defend my position, defend my life, defend. And so to unhook from that, how many of you know about the book Ask and It Is Given? And it's written by Esther Hicks and her husband Jerry, who has now passed away. And Esther channels. And Jerry used to ask her questions. And then they'd write these books. And it's all about recognizing our divinity, recognizing our spirituality, letting go of this idea that we're all separate. Even though in our humanness, it looks that way, doesn't it? I can see each and every one of you individually. I can't see that you're really connected, and yet scientists have proved that we are. That this is just a more condensed vibration. Remember like last Sunday, we're the ice. We're that ice, we're that solid form. And the divine is that steam. And yet we're all the same thing. Every single one of us is the same thing. And I really think the practice is recognizing that and knowing that. And so to get back to the book Ask and It Is Given, it's to remember when you're shifting and changing and moving more into your sense of ownership of being a spiritual being. It's to recognize you may trip and fall. At least I do. And when I do, to pick myself up and go, oh, okay, yeah, I just did that. But look, most of the time, I don't. And what a difference when it used to look like this. And then to get to that point that it becomes such a habit. Just like defending myself used to be a habit. That kindness just becomes a habit of who I am and how I choose to be in the world. What would that look like? Instead of always thinking I had to say something, that I always have to respond. This transition that we're all going through together is a great opportunity for me to practice that. How, you may ask, Gayle? Okay, I'll tell you how. Because I assume somebody, if I'd said, anybody got a question about that, somebody would have said, how are you doing that? So the transition is, I've been here for 5 years. 5.5, actually. And in that 5 years, I was the minister, I was the administrator, I was the chief cook and bottle washer, if you will. We had a lot of volunteers, it was great. And yet, when push came to shove, I carried the banner of doing it. It was probably as much by choice because I could, right? And financially, at the time, it needed to get done, so I did. And as I move away and people are moving in behind me, your search committee, your board of trustees, all figuring out how we're going to do this going forward. My practice is zip it. Zip it. This isn't about you. And unless somebody says, gee, Gayle, how did you do that? It's okay. Don't take it personal. Don't make it about you. That's a practice. Have you ever been there in your life where you really get to practice? Like, wow, if they're not asking my opinion, obviously they don't need it. The Board of Trustees meeting now, I'm on it for the first, I would say maybe half, maybe 3/4 of the meeting. And then it's time for them to talk about Genesis and its evolution into its next great beingness. And so as they do that, I gracefully go, okay guys, have a great meeting. And let them move on. Because here's the deal. If we don't have a graceful ending to my ministry, you won't have a graceful beginning. Nor will I. If I can't end this ministry gracefully, then what I am setting myself up to do in the future is not going to happen. We live in a universe of cause and effect. And so grace is important. Being able to say goodbye gracefully. Because after this, I have 4 Sundays left. And if you don't think that, even though this was my decision, if you don't think that that doesn't break my heart, then you really don't know me. I'm doing this for a lot of reasons. None of them was because I didn't love this community. That never played into it. And yet moving with authority into that place of creating my good, because my good is my God, as Michael will tell you, is what Emma says. My good is my God. And so we create our good by owning the fact that we're God-informed. That what we say matters. What we think matters. How we treat people matters. And so if you're running through your head right now, saying, oh, I should do this better, I wish I'd done that, stop. Because here's the deal. Have any of you figured out how to change the past? Any of you? Even if the past was 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, when you first walked in here. Anybody know how to do that? Because if you do, I think Google and Facebook and probably every government in the world wants to talk to you. You can't change your past. You can make amends for it if you choose. And you can decide, okay, that wasn't the best Gayle ever. I'll do better, right? I'll do better. It doesn't mean I'm not going to stumble again. That's life. Maybe I won't ever stumble again. That's life too. Recognizing with authority, the Father and I are one, is the most important gift that you can give to yourself, that you can give to your family, and that you can give to the human race. Because when you get that, then it's not like, what would Jesus do? So what would God do? How would God react? That all-powerful, all-knowing, sentient being that is everywhere and nowhere all at the same time. How would it behave? How would it be that really powerful, energetic place of love? How powerful would that be? What shift would happen in humanity if we started to behave like that? And so what I want to do before we pray is, because I was actually looking from a quote for this, and then I thought, you know what? I'm going to read the whole dang thing. I'm going to read it, and I'm going to read it like Ernest Holmes wrote it in 1927 when it was published in the Science of Mind magazine. And it's what I believe. I believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one, indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through and as all creations, but it is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe, that's us, is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. I believe in the incarnation of the Spirit in everyone, and that all people are incarnations of the one Spirit. I believe in the immortality and the continuity of the individual soul, forever and ever expanding. I believe that heaven is within us and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. I believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. I believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. I believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. I believe in the direct revelation of truth through the intuitive and spiritual nature of the individual, and that any person may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. I believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. I believe in the healing of the sick through this mind. I believe in the control of conditions through the power of this mind. I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. I believe in my own soul, my own spirit, and my own destiny. For I understand that life, my life, is God. How better could anyone say that? Much like the reading that you did this morning, Susan, from his readers. Brilliant man that synthesizes who we are, why we're here, and truly, if you take this philosophy to heart and live it, I promise you, your life will be golden. Let's pray. So standing here, looking out, recognizing and knowing the power, the presence, the love, the kindness, the goodness, the wholeness, the oneness, the unity. It is God. I look out and know it's all of you. All of you everywhere. This power, this presence, this one life says yes to all our hopes, all our dreams, all of our expressions. And yet when I speak with authority, the Father and I are one. Or, if it works better, Spirit and I are one. I claim to know for myself right here and right now that that manifests as truth in my life and manifests in truth in everyone else's life that claims it and knows it to be true. There is a power in the universe, and I choose to know it and use it for good. It is me, walking this planet right here and right now. I choose to manifest that good in my life. I choose to know that good is the truth of who each of you are as you walk this planet, as you claim your good as your God, as you declare to yourself that which has created everything is me. Wow. To believe that, to know that, is to have the power and the presence and the knowledge of the great masters. The prophet Jesus being the one that I know the best. To know that, to live from that place, to wonder with delight, how much better could my life be? And to know it's entirely up to me and how I choose to claim my good. And so I give thanks for that right here and right now, knowing that each and every person here has that opportunity in their life to claim their good that is God, or not. It's an individual process. It's an individual declaration. It's an individual knowing, remembering God always says yes. So I give thanks for my thoughts. I give thanks for my beliefs. I give thanks for my feelings. I give thanks for this deep, deep sense of knowing, that connection to that divine essence and that connection to all things everywhere. All things everywhere. I release these words into the law, knowing that as it is spoken, it is done. God, the universe, whatever I choose to call it, has said yes. And in that yes, I just say thank you. And in that yes, what we say together is, and so it is. Namaste.
Down to Long Beach, so Reverend Bernie H. Campbell will be your speaker and host. Please join in. And so, who are you?